everybody, and welcome to Old Ass Movie Reviews. I'm Dave, the other guy is Scott.
I'm right there.
And we are today reviewing two movies for the price of one. And basically it's free, so, that's great. The first one that we are going to do is A Christmas Carol Goes Wrong. It's on the BBC in Britain. It's very funny. The second one we are going to go right into is The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. Or I always think of it as The Grinch Who Stole Christmas, but it's a different title. I think
How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Yeah.
I think it's a Mandela effect, but that's just me.
So, you might be right.
Let's go into 2017.
I don't know what Nelson Mandela had to do with that, but we'll get to it.
One day. A Christmas Carol Goes Wrong was done in 2017 by the BBC, and it is a comedy. Basically about the Cornell Polytechnic Drama Society hijacking a BBC production of A Christmas Carol. Go ahead, you first.
Okay,
you do breakdowns a lot better.
Okay, so anyway, what we have here is the BBC production of A Christmas Carol, and we're kind of looking at you're shown this as like behind the scenes. You're seeing this live production go on. And what is actually happening during this live production is this theater troupe comes in and hijacks the whole thing. They kidnap, tie up, they take away all the actors, take their outfits, and start the production again. And everything goes wrong. I do mean everything goes wrong. If you can think of it, it happens. And that's going to be my only little nitpick of it. Some of this was very predictable, and but it was humorous. It was a great concept. It's like, look at these fools. I want to see the other things that they have done. I would watch anything that this troupe does.
This is a series. This is actually a series on BBC. I think you can get it on Tubi. I think you can get the whole thing on Tubi, and I think you can get the whole thing on Prime. I recommend Tubi because just Tubi's fantastic, folks. We ain't getting paid by Tubi. We don't get.
I believe that's where I watched. I watched it.
Here. I mean, it's great. I love Tubi. Where you said you had kind of a little bit of a problem with you could see
it was a little too just a little too much sometimes.
To me, I saw the problems coming, and I could hardly wait to see them.
I do get what you're saying.
There were certain things that I saw that I was like, oh, this has got to happen next. How are they going to get it to happen next? And I was howling. Howling. There's an actor, and I don't know if anybody out there knows who Derek Jacobi is, but he was in a series recently called Vicious, where he's a homosexual, an older homosexual. He's married, or he's with his lover, who is the guy who played Magneto, whose my name just jumped out of my
Ian
mind. Ian McKellen. They're just old drag guys. They've been together forever. It's a funny series. The first series isn't as funny as the second one. The first series the whole series was done by an American. So there was an American humor. It was 1, 2, 3, joke. 1, 2, 3, joke. 1, 2, 3. Whereas British humor isn't really like that. British humor kind of drags out and is droll and then hits you when you least expect it.
Yeah.
So the second series, they fixed a lot of that problem, which I loved. And then the third series was just too short for me. But the second series is, for me, the one to watch of Vicious. And Derek Jacobi and Ian McKellen are in it. And they're vicious. They're just vicious to each other. And they're vicious to everybody around them. But you see the characters. In the first series, you didn't see it. But in the second series, it really shows that these two have loved each other forever. Derek Jacobi was in I, Claudius, which is a PBS thing, and it was a BBC production. And I remember Kat and I watching it years ago. And to see him do this little bit in this show where he gets kidnapped, and every time he gets up, something bad happens to him. Like he's finally, the first time they knock him out, they just knock him out and they take him away. He finally comes to, bursts open the door and he's going to take back his role as Scrooge. And then you just see this little dart hit him in the neck. And the guy comes out with a blowpipe or a blowgun and drags him off stage again. And I am dying. I'm like,
Yeah.
how in the hell did Derek Jacobi agree to the guy's got to have the greatest sense of humor in the world. I want to meet him. I want to meet him.
Yeah.
Oh, he was also in he was a monk in a series where he was a detective, and I forgot the name of that series. I will try and look it up. But and it's a great series. But he is just such he is a guy who when he plays a villain, you're like, oh crap, that's an evil SOB. And when he does something like this, you're like, oh my God, he does not do enough comedy. I will say it. I've said it before. When you get these guys in comedy that can do really honest to goodness Shakespeare and then turn around and do this, I would have been picking his brain the whole time if I was one of those actors. I'd have just been like, oh my God, it's Sir Derek Jacobi. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. So to see him in this with all these other actors is just, it's funny. I was dying, dude. I can't even tell you. I was laughing so loud I woke up my dogs and they both just jumped up and looked at me like, what the hell's wrong?
Yeah, there's some really funny shit in there. My favorite gag is the one that pays off multiple times, and here's the thing, they all do, and I have to. Yeah. The brilliance of it is these jokes are long. They continue to pay throughout the entire production. I felt like this show had a laugh track, and that was a bit off-putting to me.
It may have.
I don't respond well to a laugh track because I don't think it's necessary. Right. Because I'll get British humor, and this is chock full of it. The scene with the gun and the glue.
It's glued to the hand.
When the guy dropped the glue.
Yeah.
And then it's like you already knew where that was going to go, but it just kept going. She sat in a chair. The guy had knocked a gun off the wall and put it back on, but his hand had glue on it and shit, or he tried to glue it back on the wall. Right. So this lady ends up picking up everything, and it's just, she's stuck to it. The little kid comes in. She gets her hand in the kid's hair. But what got me the most is when they went to the convenience store and she raised her hand up and the gun was still stuck to her hand and the guy thought they were being robbed and she went with it. She fucking robbed them right then and there.
Her groceries for free.
Hey, give me a Snicker. And get yourself one too.
Get yourself a Snickers. What?
Brilliant. Brilliant. Very funny. Very funny stuff, man.
Well done. When he falls out of the window, when the ghost there's a scene where the actor comes up and he's playing the ghost of Jacob Marley and he's got the chains all wrapped around him. Well, instead of using plastic chains, the character's got real chains around him, so it's heavy. Somehow he kicks this big metal box that is also heavy off the ledge that he's standing on. It falls. He of course gets whipped off out of camera. He's off the thing. You hear him hit the ground. And he's still trying to deliver his lines from wherever he fell to. He finally gets back up and he's holding the box. And you see, that's another joke. You know what's going to happen. You know where it's going. And he does it. He takes the box. He throws it down as Jacob Marley in the book takes his chains and he rattles them and he throws his boxes to the ground. And he's, oh, and you can feel his pain. Well, this guy takes his box and throws it to the ground. It smashes through the floor again. It falls. You can see the chain rolling out. And the guy's just like, uh-oh. And he gets whipped down that hole. And he's still trying to deliver his lines. This, folks, Diana Rigg is doing the narration. Derek Jacobi has been hijacked several times throughout the production of this movie or this series show. And it all just keeps getting better and better and better. And every time Derek Jacobi comes to, they knock him out. He's in that little freaking casket.
That was funny. I did not see that coming.
I didn't expect that. That's a joke that happened. And I was looking at it because The one guy is really big and he's playing. Yeah, he has to play. He has to play Tiny Tim. And this guy's 6'6", 10 stone, easy. He's a heavy, big, burly guy. He's got a full beard. He's playing Tiny Tim. Walking
When
around
she
shitting
tells
on
him
his
to
biggest
get in his
basket.
high chair, I about died.
He
Just
just sits
because
on the lady's lap.
yeah,
The lady's all of 5 foot tall.
this guy's massive. Now I gotta say something about this guy because this is a running thing throughout, and it has a
Oh
nice
yeah,
payoff. Is
yeah,
he really wants to play Scrooge? He's prepared. He's done everything, and the
yeah,
actor who's playing Scrooge is like, "No, this is mine. I'm the better actor. You're the worst actor in the troupe." He's actually quite nasty to him,
yeah, yeah.
and he said, the only way you're going to play Scrooge is if I'm incapacitated. So guess what? He tries his damnedest to incapacitate him throughout the whole fucking thing. And he's like, he'll knock him down or something and start delivering Scrooge's line. And the guy gets right back up. Nope, not incapacitated.
I'm not. I'm done. I'm still awake. It's still my role.
That was Monty Python level shit right there.
I tell you, folks, if you like A Christmas Carol, this is my take, because I don't want to give this whole thing away. It is on
No,
Tubi. Go watch it. It is called A Christmas Carol Goes Wrong. Absolutely hysterical. If you like British humor, this is the show to
absolutely.
watch. If you like A Christmas Carol and you're like, how does anybody make A Christmas Carol funny? You know, Scrooge did it with Bill Murray, but this this is the original series show, completely going wrong. It's absolutely hysterical. Like I said, I was howling through the whole thing. If you don't like British humor, you're probably not going to like this. But I
You
died.
probably don't
I
have a
was
pulse.
laughing.
I mean, I don't,
Yeah,
what's
I
not to
was
like?
crying. I thought it was so damn funny.
It was
But
funny.
that's my take. I say absolutely, absolutely. Every year we do A Christmas Carol since we started doing this little podcast. This was our idea to do A Christmas Carol this year of A Christmas Carol Goes Wrong, and well worth it. I think you brought this
Absolutely.
one up, if I'm not mistaken.
You
So
did.
yes, well worth it. Very cool, dude. Good choice.
That was yours.
Oh, I
And
thought it was yours.
nope, it was yours. It
We
was
are of
yours.
one mind. It doesn't
You're,
matter.
you're great choice. Yes, absolutely. I do have to say this. I'm not going to spoil it. You know the story. But what's sweet about this is, like A Christmas Carol, this does have a payoff, like
Yeah,
Scrooge.
yeah.
So it's well played. It's just pulling your chain the whole damn time, and then it's like, oh, sweet, nicely done.
I will only add one thing. There's a running gag with the guy who doesn't know his lines in the show. That's all I'm going to say.
Yes,
There's a running gag where the man does not know his lines. It is
I'd have
absolutely
killed him.
hysterical. And even
I'd have
that has a
killed
great
him.
payoff at the end.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
freaking fantastic.
So I do have okay. So yes, I absolutely really love this. This is a lot
Yeah.
of fun. It is some great dry, dark, sarcastic humor. But the guy who can't remember his lines, they've written his lines everywhere, and I do mean everywhere. And it's every word as far as yes or no. He doesn't even know what to respond. So he wrote it on a coin. Yes on one side, no on the
No
other.
on the
But
other.
he keeps getting it wrong and keeps the
He's turning the coin.
there's another spot where he's turning the goose on a spit, and it actually says goose on.
What did you get for dinner?
Hold on.
Goose. We got a goose.
And that's all I'm going to say about that, because there's another component to that whole joke
God,
that
that is
works really
funny.
well. This is fun. This is cute. This is definitely watch it. I believe I caught it on Tubi, like we were talking about. So it was very funny. Right up Dave and I's alley right there. So keeping in the Christmas theme and kind of in the Scrooge's theme, we're going to move on to 1966, is it? Yes. 1966's How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
How
Now,
the Grinch Stole Christmas.
I have to say something. I grew up watching this every year as a kid. It holds a special place in my heart. I may have known before, but I didn't realize today how much I love Chuck Jones. I did not.
Oh yeah.
this is oh my god. Once I saw that this is a Chuck Jones production, and then I
Mhm.
took a look at the animation, it's like, oh my god, it is so
Yeah,
Chuck
it's
Jones.
really
I mean, his
good.
signature is all over it. So I did some research and saw that he did work with Ted Giesel, Dr.
Yeah,
Seuss.
yeah.
They worked together to do this, but they had known each other before. Well, this is what I didn't know, and they
I didn't know
did
that.
they did military training videos, something
During World
snafu
War
or
II,
whatever.
right?
Yeah, yeah, World War II video cart animations together. So they had worked together and they did this, and this is a
No kidding.
classic, man.
I didn't know that. I didn't know any of that.
Yeah,
I didn't know that they had known each other.
yeah.
I,
I'm gonna
if
pull up the info on that, but that
if
was
you look at the animation and the character designs, you can definitely tell it's Chuck Jones.
oh my
Just the
god,
character
yeah.
designs alone, because he had a very telling.
Here we go. Now, folks, pardon me, but this comes from Wikipedia, so
Mhm.
take everything I'm about to give you with a grain of salt.
Right.
Um, says Ted and Chuck had worked together on the private snafu training cartoons at Warner Brothers during World War II, and Jones was interested in adapting one of Dr. Seuss' books
Mhm.
and approached him to do How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And
Wow.
yep,
I didn't know that. That's
very
amazing.
cool.
That
I
is really
was
cool.
once I saw Chuck Jones, it's like, oh my god, how did I miss this? I probably knew it, but it just brought me back
Yeah,
so
in the
much. And I
back of your
think,
head.
yeah, and I think that's why this has a special place in my heart, because
Mhm.
I grew up every Saturday morning watching Chuck Jones on
Yeah.
TV, all his drawings everywhere. And a lot of folks our age did too. So when you
Oh
see
yeah.
this, it's like, oh wow, look at that. It gets that vibe. It's got that feeling.
Mhm.
It's got the sound design. It's got it's yeah.
The I was talking to the old lady when we were watching this. The 2D animation I have a special fondness for. I'm not a big CGI guy
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to animating cartoons and stuff. I watch Shrek. I've watched the Toy Story, some of the Toy Story stuff. It's okay. I personally prefer 2D animation. I
Right.
always have. I always will. I don't care what happens in the world. I'll always prefer 2D animation. That's hand drawn. Chuck Jones was a master at it. His weren't quite as violent as like the Tex Avery stuff, but they were still very funny, very good. His character designs were spot on. They were top notch. And I on the copy, the DVD that I have has some of the background stuff, and they show you how they shot some of the stuff in layers, and it's
Oh wow.
amazing. It's like the smile, when you
Well,
see the things going in it, and you just his teeth are all screwed up, and
that was
everything's
great.
layered so much that you have like three or four layers, and it looks so good. It looks like it's all on one drawing, and it's not. He's got like layers of, you have one for the mouth, interior of the mouth, one for the teeth, one for the face that's smiling. It's amazing, this guy.
Here's a bit of trivia. Approximately 15,000 drawings and cells were used for this.
That's a lot less than I would have thought because it looked really smooth.
Yeah.
It looked really smooth. But 15,000, that's a lot.
That is a lot.
I
I
would
did
have
read
loved
in
to.
there. I'm
Sorry, go
sorry.
ahead.
I
Go ahead.
did read in there that they originally, just based on the book, it only made a 12-minute movie. So they had to add some more scenes and stretch
Good
it out.
job.
And
Good job.
it's stretched, but
Yeah.
it's entertaining the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's like whenever you found out that they were going to do The Grinch Stole Christmas with live action. I remember thinking, how in the hell are you going to make a movie an hour, hour and a half, whatever
out
that
of a
movie ends up
26
being?
minute
Like,
animation.
how are you going to do that? That doesn't make any sense, but they did it and they did a good job. But I still prefer this. I prefer this cartoon to that movie. And it's one of the few things that I really like Carrie in too. But this cartoon is what we grew up with. This is what I love this. I just absolutely love it. Uh, this Cindy Lou Who in the book, I think actually has a bigger part too than she does in the cartoon. But in the movie, they really just blow it out, which is really cool.
Well, they had to. They
Yeah,
had to,
they
because
said it
that's
was
what I
too
was.
cute not to put it in the movie. You
Well,
know?
that's what I remember from watching this. Is like I was remembering a lot of stuff from the Jim Carrey
Mhm.
version of this, which is a great adaptation. I have
Right.
absolutely really don't have any issues with it.
No, no, not
But
at all.
this one, this is the nostalgia. This is I was so I grew up watching this. I don't remember a time in my life when this didn't exist.
Right,
So,
right.
and
Like,
that's one
yeah,
of those things.
exactly. It's like Charlie Brown's Christmas.
Yes, or the Great Pumpkin.
Yeah, it was a great pumpkin. We just grew up with them. They were always there, you know?
Hmm.
Uh, the, the scene that I remember the most from my childhood is whenever Max is fallen out of the collar that he's using to drag the big sled with, and they're already on top of Mount Crumpet, and the thing starts to fall, and the Grinch has got to grab it and pull it down, and he takes it and he rides the sleigh down. I remember that so vividly from my childhood when I was a kid. I was like, oh my God, that. And now I have a newer DVD, so it's so crisp and so
Oh
clear.
yeah.
I've probably never seen it this clear as I do on my new DVD. So I'm very happy about that, let me tell you. And it's just amazing. The animation in this is it's crisp, it's clear, it's clean.
It's beautiful.
I wish to God that people would stop screwing around and just do the right thing and do back to 2D animation. But it would be so hard to start training people again. I think you'd have a hard time, but you can do it. There's enough artists out there.
There
But
is.
this, like you said, this harkens back
Somebody's
to childhood. Yeah.
Yeah, somebody's got to pick up where Miyazaki and Chuck Jones leave off, you know?
God, we're doomed when Miyazaki finally passes away.
I know.
When Miyazaki-san finally passes away, we are
He keeps doing his
screwed.
final film. Maybe he's got another one in
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. I'm retiring.
Yeah.
Are you sure we got this idea about a guy and a heron? Okay, I'll do that one.
I have not
Then I'm
watched that
retiring.
yet. I look forward to watching it, but I have not
Yeah, I
seen it
want to
yet.
see that. It's supposed to be pretty good, but also a tear jerker. So
Well, that's Miyazaki for you. The man can write.
I'm
So,
kind of looking forward to this one. You
yeah.
know, I really enjoyed the wind. What was that? The wind beneath. I want to say the wind beneath my wings, but that's not right. Um, the wind also rises.
Yeah. That was a
The one about World War
surprise.
II. Yeah, that was very surprising
That was,
for a
dude, I want to
movie
watch that again.
about a guy in World War II. It had nothing to do with World War II per se, you
Yeah.
know? Um,
Not directly. Not
Not
directly.
directly, no. But it was a good that was a good movie, and that's a lot of 2D. He has a magic of blending traditional with new animation.
And does it well.
And that's the problem with a lot of people. They don't know how to do that. They don't know how to take the two and blend them well. And he does. And
Yeah.
I think if Chuck Jones were still alive, I think he's passed away. I'm almost sure he's
I
passed away.
believe he has. Yeah.
I think if he were still alive doing big stuff, I think he'd be able to. He'd been one of the few guys that could still do it. You know?
So a few years back, actually many years back, I was out in San Diego and we went and Chuck Jones had a gallery in a
Yeah.
marketplace. And dude, it was like being in the Holy Land. I
Yeah.
just in awe to see his artwork on the walls and you
It's
could buy
amazing.
it. And it's like, oh, it was yeah, it was expensive, but it was
Oh
awesome.
yeah. It was
It
always
was
expensive.
beautiful. So it was just neat to actually see that. How the Grinch Stole Christmas. This is a great every year. Get the kids out, get
Yeah.
everybody out, just watch it.
The family.
It's only 26 minutes. It's a
Mhm.
touching tale of an old curmudgeon who just hates all the noise and it sounds like Dave and I, you
Yeah.
know.
Get off my grass.
And this is one thing that the Jim Carrey movie does better is shows the journey of the Grinch's heart growing.
Right.
They didn't have a lot of time here. This was a adaptation of the book that just they
Mhm.
had to stretch it out and get it there. And
Right. Right.
at that, I think I read it took almost a year to do. So, and it had a pretty big budget. Had a really big budget. So it's a lot of work that goes into animation. So that's especially when you're drawing everything.
And when you got Boris Karloff doing the voice,
Oh,
doing the narration,
it's
and doing
great.
some of the voice, and I forgot, you may have it up on your phone. The guy who sings the Grinch song is the same guy who does the voiceover for Tony the Tiger, and I can't think of his name right now.
Really?
Yeah. Um, that was always one of my favorite little things to find out when I was a kid. When I was a
Yeah, it's
little
not
kid, I
showing it
found
right
out
here,
that I
but
was like, "Oh my God, that's amazing!" Tony the Tiger singing the Grinch song,
uh,
but it matches Boris Karloff's narration really well. Oddly enough, in a weird way.
it says Thurl Ravenscroft.
That's it, Ravenscroft.
Wow, what a name.
Yeah, he sounds like he should be like in an Indiana Jones movie.
Oh, he's a great villain.
Yeah,
Wow. Wow. Anyway,
yeah, right. Um,
it's a great song. It's
it
sung
is,
so well.
and that's the great thing. The designs were so far away from the book, but they all work so well. And then the music, the lyrics to the music, when they're talking about the ting tinglers and the ram bramble and all
But
the
yeah.
words that are just jumbled
Oh my
together,
God.
they all work so well in this. It's so amazing. I love it. This is not, there's nothing wrong with this movie. There's
No,
nothing wrong with this television show. I do recommend if you have kids or grandkids, watch it with them every year.
absolutely.
Just give them that memory, that great memory that we had
I
growing
had
up.
a lot of fun watching it as a kid. I remember,
Yeah,
I'm watching this and it's like, dude, it took me right back. It's like, oh, I
yeah,
haven't seen this in forever. And I remembered it. I'm remembering the words. I'm reciting this damn movie and I
yep.
haven't watched it in forever. And it's like, oh my God.
And see, I've only missed it like a year. I
Oh,
usually watch. It's one of those things that I do watch every year. This and it, and Charlie Brown Christmas Carol, and the 25 different versions of a Christmas Carol that I
yeah.
have. I will watch. I just love them. I just there's certain things that I watch. It's like music. There's two songs that I'm not really in the Christmas mood until I hear Otis Redding's "Merry Christmas, Baby" and the Waitress's "Christmas Wrapping." When I hear those two songs, I am instantly back in the mood for Christmas.
Yeah.
I am. I don't know why. It's just like I have to have those two songs on. That's all there is to it.
No,
Otis
I
Redding
got it.
singing
I
"Merry
got it.
Christmas, Baby." I mean, that's it. Yeah, I'm done.
At least you pick a couple good ones, not some of the
Yeah.
stuff that's been bumping through our radio at work.
No.
Some of it's good. I mean, I'll hear Frank and I'm like, oh yeah. And they're like,
Yeah.
what is that?
Finally. Yeah. Finally, you put something good on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, I completely recommend this show. Watch it every year. Watch it with your kids, with your grandkids, with your nephews, your nieces,
Your neighbors.
whatever. Yeah, just it's great. I watch it alone. I love it. I'm not, me and the old lady watched it alone. We ain't got any kids. Ain't got any grandkids. I watch this stuff every year. I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
it.
So this is definitely a must recommend from Old Ass
Uh,
Movie Reviews. And this does more than likely wrap up our Christmas run. So, folks, we do have coming up our year in review where we'll go through all 50 plus movies that we watched through the year. Just give a real quick recap on it. We've watched some good ones and we've watched mainly good ones this year. I don't recall
so
many.
I think did good choices this year.
We're
Many
going to
good
go for
choices.
some shit next year. I promise you.
We're,
Looking
we're
for the
gonna look for some
bad.
crap. We're gonna look for
Yeah.
some crap, I think.
So be
Hey,
sure and
I
join us.
keep loving all the movies.
I know. I know. It's crazy. Every time I think I find something that we're going to hate, we end up loving it.
Before we close out, the name of the series that I was trying to think of with Derek Jacobi is called I, Claudius.
Okay.
I didn't say it before. It's I, Claudius. He plays Emperor Claudius during the Roman
Mm-hmm.
Empire. The guy who comes in and takes over after not Nero. Who was the crazy guy that had all the orgies?
Caligula.
Caligula. Yeah, he comes in after Caligula. He was smart enough to keep his mouth shut, and everybody thought he was retarded. And he winds up basically rebuilding Rome at some point, like the character of Claudius. But Christmas, I can hardly wait till next year. We're gonna have some good shows next year because I kept pulling up stuff, going, "Oh, we could do. Oh no, we don't have time. Oh, we could
Yeah.
do. Oh no, we don't have time."
We will definitely, we may do Christmas in July. Who knows?
That would
So,
be funny. That would be funny. Christmas just because there's so many, and we got to throw in a couple of hallmarks. Hallmark Christmas.
I've got at least one in me. I'll give you one. I already know the plot.
Whatever
So
yeah, the plot is the town's in trouble the chocolate or the candy cane factory, tree factory is going out of business.
Yeah, and it brought so much
And the
joy
man
to the
from the
entire
big
town.
city that used to live in the small town is back.
Yeah, and had a crush on the girl that sat across from him in third grade, and now they meet again at the
Oh,
diner. Yeah, and
that's
save the factory. Anyway, folks, enough of that. We will catch you next week with our year in review, and then we hit the like, hit the share, hit the subscribe, and we will catch you later.
have a good one.